It's that time of year again where everybody on PlannerTube is posting their planner stack videos or their planner lineup videos. I love watching a good planner lineup video, but there is a catch. The planner lineup / planner stack is a pretty difficult beast to create and manage. I myself struggled a lot with it last year, and I think I got it down to a science this year. So today we're going to talk about how to build your planner stack, if you even need a planner stack, why you would use multiple planners, and what some of the most common ways are to divide up the planner stack. By the way, hi, if you're new here, my name is Rachel and I do all sorts of planner and stationery stuff here on the YouTubes. So the first thing you want to ask yourself when you are building your planner stack is why? Why do you want a planner stack, right? Why do you want multiple planners in your system? This may seem like a very simple question, but I think it can feel really exciting to purchase a lot of planners during planner season, roughly starting in September. Brands start releasing their new 2023 planners, and it can feel exciting to start buying all of those up right away. Slowly releases come out towards the new year, and this might pop up that you're interested, that might pop up that you're interested in. And so it's very tempting to just feed into the capitalist machine and buy all of the cool new planners, right? Trust me, I've been there. I know the feeling. I a little bit got there this year. The capitalist machine did a little bit get me this year. And it's totally fine to buy planners that you think you're gonna use and then decide along the way, you know what, I'm not gonna use this, and resell it. Or give it as a gift, or however you want to destash it. So my first tip of the video may seem a little counterintuitive, but I encourage you, if you are drowning in many, many planners, either as gifts or as things you've purchased yourself, to think about which one would just be your one planner. If you could just choose one, pick one planner out of all the planners you have, and imagine a world in which that is your only planner. Do you think it has what you need? Do you think it has a little bit too much space? Is it not enough space? Then from there, you can build out and add other planners to your planner stack. Once you decided that you need or want to add more planners, you probably have a loose idea of what you want those planners to do for you and how you want them to fit into your lineup. But let's talk about the 4 major ways that planner lineups can be broken up. So the first method of breaking up your planner lineup is going to be by life area or subject. So this is things like having a work planner, having a hobbies planner, having a goal planner, having a health planner. You have a unique planner for each sort of area of your life or area of interest in your life. These can really range. So you can have a planner for your knitting goal for the year, a planner you only write in when you're traveling. You can have a planner for your family, a planner for each of your kids if you have kids. You can have a planner for work, a separate planner for your side hustle. This life areas method of splitting up your planners can honestly go on forever. We all have so many interests, goals, and subject areas in our life that I can literally name 17 different planners that I would need to fulfill all of those different areas. So this one can get a little bit out of hand. And I encourage you to think about what are your actual priorities and goals for the upcoming year, and what do you actually need planners around. For example, health. If health is one of your goals in the new year, you may want a whole planner dedicated to planning your workout routines, planning your eating habits, meal planning, that kind of thing. You may need all of that space for the health planner itself. But if reading is not really one of your goals in the new year, it doesn't really make sense to have a reading journal or a reading planner because you're just not going to be using it and updating it. So if you're deciding you want a planner stack based around life areas, I encourage you to really select which life areas actually need a full planner's worth of attention. A second method that you can break your planners up by is by physical location. This one is kind of novel. This one I just kind of played with a little bit in 2022. It was fun. You can have your planners broken up by home, a planner for the office, a planner for my bedside table, for example, a planner for the gym. Planners that you only use at these particular places, and maybe that's just because you need to record things at those particular times of day, and so you need a planner for that location, or because that's where you're going to reference what you've written down in your planner. On one of my previous videos, somebody commented that they have a kitchen table Hobonichi cousin where it just stays on the kitchen table, and that's where they do all of their planning for their home and kitchen and family life, which I think is such a good example of this because it stays on the kitchen table, it stays open, and it stays accessible when you're in the home and when you're in that location. So you always have the information you need to reference, you always have the space to jot something down, it just stays in that spot. Compare that to an office or work planner, which would be really helpful if you have trouble leaving work behind, so to speak. So say you have a planner that just lives at your office. once you close that planner and close down for the day, you have to be going home and leaving that planner there. So you have to leave work at work. It can be really helpful to separate out the different spaces in your life because in the different spaces, different things need to happen. One thing I would encourage for this type of planning is making sure that you have some sort of method to keep track of the information that you actually need across all of your different physical locations that you're in throughout your day. And that can just be a notes app on your phone. It can be a little notebook. It can be a separate planner if you want to have sort of like a catch-all planner. But that can really help just to bridge the gap between the locations in which you're planning. Method number 3 is planners by activity. Now this sounds a little bit like method number 1, planners by life area, but this activities planner is just slightly different. The biggest example of this that I see is the memory keeping planner. So a lot of people will have a primary planner for like productivity, project planning, and things that they're doing in their day-to-day life, and then have a separate planner for memory keeping or journaling or something along those lines. The memory keeping and journaling planner is something that I am loosely thinking about playing with in 2023, so if you have any good tips about how to keep one, leave them down below. But generally, the journal and / memory keeping planner versus the planning and productivity planner is a pretty widespread sort of 2-planner system that gets used because it's very effective. It can be really challenging sometimes to keep everything in just one book, especially when you are battling with making beautiful, fun, pretty, memory-based spreads with actually keeping track of your tasks that need to get done. Sometimes you just need to clear away all of the decoration and the fun memory planning in order to focus on your to-do list. But if you have a separate planner that's just for memory keeping, you have a really fun, open, easy space in which you can just write whatever you want, no matter the time or day, and you can even go back and like backfill in a few days of memory if you don't have time to do it every single day because you need to be focusing on your productive tasks. The two can complement each other really, really well. The 4th method I see planners split up by in planner stacks pretty frequently is by style. This is kind of related to having like a productivity versus memory keeping planner, but really it's more about the type of style that you are employing in these various planners. I know for me, I love the collage style of planning and decorating and memory keeping and all of that. I think it looks so beautiful, but I just cannot have it alongside the more functional, more straightforward actual plans planner that I'm creating because it's just too distracting for me, and keeping up with that on a regular basis is a lot. So instead, what you can do is you can have a planner that's devoted to a functional style of planning, right? It's very minimal, it's very clean. And you can have a planner that is instead your junk journal planner or your ephemera planner. You can have an art planner in which you do a sketch every single day on the daily page. I've also heard of people having messy planners and ugly planners where they just don't put any pressure on themselves to make it look beautiful. And then sometimes that is paired alongside with something like an art planner or like a junk journaling planner that has more collage elements, more stuff thrown in. You can have a watercolor planner where you just watercolor over everything. This again is super, super customizable because you can really tailor it to what actually interests you. Another type of stylistic planner that I've heard of is a kawaii journal. So this is things like using sort of Japanese inspired elements in your journal to make it look very cute. I don't personally do this, but I think a good example of this would be Moonlit Planning. I don't know if she would call herself a kawaii planner, but she certainly has such an adorable memory keeping style in her planner. So if you're interested in that, go check her out. But yeah, you can really have a planner split up by any type of style that you want. If you're a creative person, this can be a really good outlet. Maybe you're duplicating information across these different planners. Maybe you're using them for some distinct purpose. Either way, if you know you love to collage and tape things in and it's a really good creative outlet for you, you can have one journal that's devoted to that and one journal that's just devoted to one pen. Bonus method of splitting up your planners in your planner stack is to just have multiple planners that do the same thing. This I'm calling the Lindsay Scribbles method because I really do think she's a legend, but she sort of acknowledges that like what her planner stack and planner system evolves to be towards the end of the year is like a collection of different planners that she's used for like 3 months at a time. And so she maybe uses like her Hobonichi weeks for 3 months, gets really into that style of planning, and then she builds into the knowledge of her year that she will planner hop. So you can also build this into your planner stack if you want. You can understand something about yourself is that you're gonna planner hop between planners and just buy whatever planners you want. just make sure to keep them updated across the different planners. This is, I believe, what Lindsay Scribbles does, and I think it's a really good idea if you are the type of person who actually just wants maybe one main planner to carry around, but you know you're going to just be switching from that traveler's notebook to that Hobonichi, to that Stalogy, to that bullet journal every few months or every few weeks. You can make it so that that's part of your daily routine. That's part of your planner habit. Once you move into a new planner, you just make sure it's all filled out and all up to date. It's totally okay to do that too. Lastly, I do want to say that the planner stack doesn't have to just be physical planners. It can also involve digital elements. So I have a Google Calendar that I keep updated no matter what, across all the different areas of my life. And when I sit down to plan my week in my planner, I reference that master calendar. This is why I don't really use the monthly pages of my calendars very much, because that is also one of my planners, is my monthly calendar in my Google Calendar. I also have big, massive to-do lists that are housed in digital databases or digital to-do apps that I just pull from when I am planning my day. I don't like keeping a huge brain dump list of tasks in my planner, so I utilize that digital element to always have access to my vast array of to-do list items, which is always way too long, and I use that to actually plan my day. I may do a whole video on the digital support system that I use to amend where my paper planners fall short. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to talk about it because I think most of us use some sort of digital tool to keep our planners updated anyways. So let me know if you want that in the comments down below. One quick tip I have for you guys is to have a good planner routine if you have a multiple planner system or multiple planner lineup. It can be very challenging to just remember to update all your planners if you have more than one book. But even if you just have a one book planner system, I also recommend a planning routine. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in my next week's video because this one is already getting too long. If you enjoyed this, you might like to follow me on Instagram. I'm at RachelInTheory over there, and I'll be posting updates, memes, etc., etc. I also have many other videos on productivity and planning. You can check one out right here. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around, for subscribing, for being awesome. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.